In this video, we've compiled the most expensive vases ever on Antiques Roadshow. Let's get started.
Number 7. The Loetz Titania Silver Overlay Vase, circa 1905.
Got it about 35 years ago, paid $125 for it, and I really haven't been able to find out what it is because it's not marked in any way.
At first glance, this colorful glass vase may look like a simple decorative piece, but the moment Arlie, the expert, takes a closer look, it becomes clear there may be more to the story. With no markings to reveal its maker, identifying the vase isn't easy. That's when Arlie begins examining the glass more closely.
This one is what we would actually call like a paperweight technique. The coloration is called orange opal with green.
As Arlie studies the craftsmanship and decorative techniques, it becomes clear that this unusual piece may come from a notable glassmaking tradition. But the real surprise comes when its current market value is revealed.
Back in the 1980s, something like this could sell for easily for $4,000 to $5,000. And what I've noticed recently is that the market is creeping back up, coming into its own. The vases with the silver overlay are always a little more desirable. I think could easily sell for about $5,000.
Wow, that's terrific. Thank you.
After identifying its origins and craftsmanship, Arlie finally delivers the estimate, revealing just how surprising the vase's value really is. What once seemed like a simple decorative purchase turns out to be a surprisingly valuable collectible. Coming up, an imperial-looking porcelain piece that turns out to carry serious historical weight. Number 6. The Imperial Chinese Porcelain Pot.
I first met the pot about 35 years ago in Reading, and when she moved to Canada later on, she gave the pot to me.
A porcelain vase with a long family history arrives at the show, passed down through generations and overseas connections. What starts as a simple heirloom quickly gains attention the moment the expert takes a closer look.
This piece is a piece of imperial Chinese porcelain. It's very, very fine example of what you might call classicism in China.
From the moment it's examined, it stands out as something far beyond ordinary ceramics, showing early signs of refined craftsmanship linked to imperial-level production.
It's painted with, I suppose, designs which are really quite traditional. These motifs down all the way around the belly of the pot. I don't know if you know what they are, but these are all Buddhist motifs, and these are called the 8 Buddhist emblems.
The surface isn't just decorative, it's filled with Buddhist symbols, each one carrying meaning tied to harmony, protection, and prosperity, turning the design into a coded layer of cultural significance.
What is special about this is that it has the rain mark and the seal mark of the emperor, and this is actually painted. The style of this is painted in the early 15th century style. That's why they're looking at old shapes, old designs, and incorporating on this vessel.
The key moment comes when an imperial mark is discovered, instantly elevating the vase's status and pointing to origins tied to elite court production rather than ordinary use.
In perfect state, this is worth many tens of thousands of pounds. This piece here is broken. I'm not saying you've broken it, but in terms of material, the Chinese market, the people who buy this will want things in mint states. That's what this is worth, somewhere between £5,000 and £10,000.
Even with visible damage affecting its condition, the piece still holds strong value on the market, showing that imperial craftsmanship like this can remain highly desirable, even when it's not perfect. Next, a swirling glass creation that looks decorative, until a famous name changes everything. Number 5. The Murano Glass Vase by Scarpa.
It's a Murano glass vase. I received that from my grandfather's estate. My grandfather was unfortunately born into a place where he was in World War I and World War II. So I think he probably picked this up in Europe, and maybe when he actually went back with his wife.
A stunning Murano glass vase hits the table, and it instantly stands out with its swirling green fire-like patterns. What looks like a simple heirloom is about to turn into something far more serious.
So basically, we have a nice early paper label, Murano Venini, right? Venini started the Venini Glassworks around 1921. I think this is a design by Carlos Scarpa.
The expert leans in, and things start getting interesting fast. The glasswork isn't random, it's controlled, deliberate, and crafted with a level of skill that already hints this piece might be something special.
This type of work is referred to as sommerso a bollicene, I believe is the correct pronunciation. Mixing of all surfaces, with the gold highlights here. It's just a beautiful classic vase.
Then comes the game changer. This isn't just Murano glass. It's tied to Carlo Scarpa, one of the most influential designers in modern glass history. Suddenly, everything about this vase shifts.
Scarpa was referred to as the Frank Lloyd Wright of Italy at times. It's a wonderful piece. I think a good auction estimate would be $15,000 to $20,000.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's sweet. Thank you. That's great. We love it. We really appreciate it.
With the designer confirmed, the vase jumps from decorative object to serious collectible. What started as a family piece now carries real weight in the design market, and a price tag to match. Up next, a quiet family glass piece that suddenly connects to one of the most experimental eras in design history. Number 4. Tiffany Aquamarine Glass Vase.
My parents went to an estate sale in New Haven, Connecticut, and they bought it. And it's been in the family for over 60 years. It's wonderful.
A simple family glass piece with decades of history quietly sits in the background of an estate sale story, bought for almost nothing and never expected to be anything more than sentimental. But objects like this sometimes connect back to one of the most experimental names in American decorative art, Tiffany, where glassmaking was pushed far beyond traditional limits.
This particular glass is called aquamarine glass. It was produced for a very short period of time. The glass resembles seawater. They put a lot of aquatic life in it. Later on, they added flowers to it.
What immediately stands out is the complexity of the glass itself. Layered, fluid, and almost organic in appearance, as if it was shaped to mimic natural movement rather than static design.
It says LC Tiffany Furnaces, and then there is a number also on the bottom. But only Tiffany made aquamarine glass. It was such a difficult technique that no one has been able to replicate it.
This type of work belongs to a highly experimental phase of early 20th century studio glass, where production was risky, expensive, and inconsistent. Many pieces never survived the kiln, which is exactly what makes surviving examples so unusual today.
This was very costly to make because a lot of the pieces broke. They would sell these for between $200 and $250. Your piece of glass is worth between $30,000 and $40,000.
Once its origin is fully understood, the entire perception of the piece shifts. What was once an overlooked family object now sits in the category of rare collectible glass, carrying a value that reaches tens of thousands on today's market. What an incredible moment, right? Coming up, a thrift store find that reveals extreme craftsmanship hidden inside layered glass. Number 3. The Orrefors Ariel Vase.
I brought a Orrefors Swedish glass vase. I purchased it at a thrift shop auction. I bid and I won the auction.
A simple thrift store purchase sits quietly on the table, but the moment it enters expert hands, it becomes clear this is far from an ordinary decorative object.
Well, I want you to know that this is probably the heaviest vase I have ever appraised. It's also signed by the artist down here, Edvin Orstrom.
Yes.
It is actually signed on the bottom, which I know that you saw. And then there's a little number 143E, which signifies the date when this was produced.
What draws attention to the Arlie, the expert first, isn't just the look, but the complexity behind it. This is the kind of glass that only comes from highly rare, controlled, and experimental production techniques.
The type of vase, it's called Ariel. It was developed by Orstrom and Vicky Lindstrom, who were two people who were working at Orrefors at the time. Orstrom came there in 1936. He's a sculptor by trade. I would probably date this somewhere between 1939 and 1950.
As Arlie examines the vase, she reveals that this piece comes from a time when glassmakers were pushing the absolute limits, taking huge technical risks and turning raw glass into bold, experimental forms that were never meant to be mass-produced.
The way this was made is that there was a hot, molten blob of glass. It would be carved and decorated, sometimes even sandblasted, and air would get trapped.
Oh, hence the bubbles and the design itself.
Exactly.
Its most striking feature lies deep within the structure, where trapped air and layered glass collide to form shifting patterns that only reveal themselves under the right light, demanding extreme precision at every stage of production.
I did go over it with a fine-tooth comb to make sure. Your $100 investment. I think in a retail shop that this could sell for $35,000 to $45,000. from this time period, in this shape, in the form. This is a very special piece.
I like it even more now.
I'm not shocked.
Once the craftsmanship and rarity are fully understood, the perception changes completely. What starts as a quiet thrift store ends up revealing just how unpredictable the world of antiques can be when expert eyes take a closer look. Next, a modest heirloom that quickly escalates into a confirmed Tiffany-linked discovery. Number 2. The Louis C. Tiffany Furnaces Ink Vase.
It was handed down from her to my grandmother and then to me. And my mother said to my grandmother, how about giving Tiffany, which is my name, a Tiffany? I gravitated to this one because it was just so different.
What looks like a quiet family heirloom suddenly pulls in expert attention because beneath the sentimental story, there are early signs this piece might connect to one of the most respected names in American glass history, and that changes everything.
There were the companies that were owned by Louis Comfort Tiffany. Louis was the son of the founder of Tiffany and Company, Charles Tiffany. Okay. So that's always very confused. I'm not sure I've seen another one like it, which I love. On the bottom, it's signed with a number and then the suffix letter N and then LC Tiffany Ink Favreal. During the 1920s, that's actually, they put an ink in the signature.
As Arlie reveals the origin of the vase, it's suddenly, this isn't just old glass anymore. It's becoming a documented piece from a highly specialized Tiffany output period that collectors actively hunt for.
It is a piece of case glass, meaning that there's more than one layer of glass that has been used, sort of peeking out underneath this matte finish decoration. It appears to almost be like an agate finish. The interior is almost like a brownish cherry color.
This is where it gets really interesting. The surface isn't flat decoration. It's layered, engineered glasswork that bends light, depth, and color together in a way that almost feels alive, like the material itself is hiding movement inside it. That's marvelous, isn't it?
In a retail venue, I could see this selling for between $30,000 and $50,000.
Oh my God.
I think it's really lucky that you were named Tiffany.
And then comes the moment that changes everything. The realization that this isn't just rare, it's seriously desirable. What started as a personal keepsake now sits in the category of high-end collectible art glass, with a value that completely reframes its story. A really remarkable moment, honestly. And finally, a simple pottery piece that turns into one of the most shocking valuations on the show. Number 1. Overbeck Vase, circa 1920.
Me and my wife were shopping at a local Goodwill, and I knew it was good quality, but I knew nothing about it. And I thought, well, I don't know who it is, but for $4.99, I'm gonna buy it.
A routine stop at a thrift shop suddenly shifts into something far more interesting when an unassuming ceramic piece catches the eye. It doesn't look flashy, but there's a sense it's been made with real intent, the kind of object you don't just walk past twice.
This piece is marked OBK for Overbeck and the sisters, initials E and F. But to me, the best period of their work was around late teens, early 20s.
As David, the expert, examines the vase, the atmosphere changes immediately. This isn't random studio pottery. There's a clear link to a small, historically significant group of makers whose work is tightly tracked by collectors for its rarity and consistency.
Design technique that uses a geometric distillation of the original design. You've got a repeated design, it's 5 or 6 times around the vase. You've got a running man in a striped suit.
The piece is quickly placed into its most important creative era, a time when this workshop's output was at its most respected. What makes it stand out isn't just age, it's the level of control, discipline, and identity embedded in every work they produced during that period.
It's such a great example of their work. It's colorful, it's matte painted, it's hand thrown, which is a technical achievement.
At closer inspection, the surface starts to tell its own story. Forms are broken down, rebuilt, and repeated in a structured rhythm that feels almost coded. Nothing is accidental here. Every line and shape is part of a deliberate visual system built through skilled handwork.
At auction, it would bring somewhere between $50,000 and $100,000.
Can't believe that.
It's got everything it's got to have. This one's got it.
Got my heart thumping.
Then, everything flips. What began as a low-cost find is suddenly recognized as a serious collectible with major market demand. The reaction says it all. This isn't just a nice object, it's a piece that sits firmly in high-value territory. This moment stands out as one of the most unforgettable reveals the show has ever delivered. If you enjoyed this video, click now to watch unbelievable appraisals with the most expensive rings on Antiques Roadshow.